Hey everyone, welcome back. It's October 16th, and you know what that means. Time for another deep dive.
That's right. We're cutting through the noise and getting to the heart of the stories that matter.
Because let's face it, the news cycle can be a bit overwhelming.
Absolutely. It's a constant barrage of information.
So we're here to break it down, make sense of it all, and hopefully give you some food for thought along the way. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, let's start with what everyone's got their eyes on. The stock market, trying to claw its way back to those record highs. But something feels different this time, don't you think?
It does, doesn't it? There's this underlying current of uncertainty. It's like a tug of war, almost. On one hand, we've got some positive earnings reports coming out, particularly from certain sectors of the economy, and that's definitely enticing investors. But on the other hand, inflation, it's still a major concern, not to mention those ever-present geopolitical tensions.
Right, always looming in the background. And that back and forth, that's what keeps us all on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, it is. It's what creates that volatility, those swings in the market that can be so exhilarating, but also, let's be honest, a little nerve-wracking.
Totally, like riding a roller coaster in the dark.
Yeah.
You know it's supposed to be fun, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of investing, I was reading about this money manager, Meb Faber. He's doing things a little differently, and it's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. Meb Faber. His approach is definitely turning heads. Instead of chasing after those high-growth tech stocks, which, let's face it, is what everyone seems to be doing these days, he's focused on something else entirely.
Yeah, high-quality, dividend-paying stocks, right?
Exactly. These are your more established companies. Strong fundamentals, consistent performance, a history of sharing profits with their investors through dividends.
So it's less about trying to catch the next big wave and more about finding those steady ships already sailing.
That's a great way to put it. And the thing is, his ETF, the one that uses this strategy, it's actually outperforming the market.
Really? That's amazing. You know, it makes you wonder if, in our constant quest for the next shiny thing, we sometimes overlook the value of those steady, reliable performers.
It really does. It challenges the conventional wisdom, doesn't it? Makes you think twice about where you're putting your own resources, both financially and otherwise.
It does. Which actually leads perfectly into our next topic, vaccines.
Ah, yes. Vaccines, always a hot topic.
To say the least. And Novavax has been in the spotlight quite a bit lately with their vaccine developments, but it sounds like they've hit a bit of a bump in the road.
Yeah, the FDA recently decided to put their combined COVID-19 and flu vaccine trial on hold.
On hold? Wow, what happened?
Well, it seems one of the participants in a mid-stage trial experienced a condition called motor neuropathy.
Motor neuropathy. I have to admit, I'm not familiar with that term.
So basically, it affects the nerves that control your muscles. Symptoms can range from mild tingling and numbness to more serious issues like muscle weakness and problems with coordination. It can be caused by a whole bunch of things, not just vaccines.
Right, of course.
Now, it's important to emphasize that a single case in a trial doesn't necessarily mean the vaccine itself is unsafe. But the FDA is, understandably, being very cautious and wants to investigate thoroughly.
Makes sense. Safety has to be the top priority when it comes to vaccines.
Absolutely. But for Novavax, this has to be a major setback. They've invested a lot of time and resources into this particular vaccine, especially with the idea of a combined COVID-19 and flu shot. It was seen as a potential game changer.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What do you think this means for the future of these combination vaccines? Is this just a bump in the road or a sign of bigger challenges ahead?
It's hard to say for sure at this point, but I think it highlights just how complex vaccine development really is. It's a delicate balancing act, and this situation just throws another wrench in the works.
It's a good reminder that science is a process, right? Full of twists and turns.
Exactly. But hey, speaking of unexpected twists, let's switch gears to something totally different. Football.
Football.
Mm.
Okay, I'll bite. What's the play?
Have you ever heard of the Big Data Bowl?
The Big Data Bowl. Rings a bell, but refresh my memory.
So it's this competition now in its 7th year where data enthusiasts get to put their skills to the test using, you guessed it, NFL data.
Okay, so we're not talking fantasy football here.
Nope, this is the real deal. The finalists actually get to present their findings at the NFL Scouting Combine, and the winner, they walk away with a cool $100,000.
$100,000. Now that's some serious incentive.
Right. But it's more than just the money. This competition has become a legitimate pipeline for data experts to break into the NFL. Teams are using data analysis more and more these days to scout players, develop game strategies, you name it.
Wow, that's wild. Who knew data analysis could be your ticket to the big leagues? It really goes to show data is everywhere, and it's changing everything.
It really is. Speaking of unexpected places, who would have thought that Nevada would become a key player in the electric vehicle revolution?
Nevada. Okay, now you've got my attention. What's the connection?
It all starts with General Motors. They're going all in on electric vehicles, right?
Right, they've been pretty vocal about that.
Well, they just announced a massive investment, $625 million to be exact, in a Nevada-based project focused on mining lithium carbonate.
Lithium carbonate, the stuff that makes EV batteries tick.
The one and only. So GM isn't just building cars anymore. They're trying to lock down a vital part of the supply chain.
Interesting. So it's about controlling the resources, having a hand in every step of the process.
Exactly. They're thinking long-term, recognizing that as we shift towards a more electric-powered world, access to those raw materials is going to be crucial. It's a strategic move that speaks volumes about the future of the automotive industry.
It makes you wonder what other industries are ripe for this kind of disruption, right? The ones that we might not even be thinking about yet.
It's an exciting time to be paying attention, that's for sure. And speaking of exciting and maybe a little unpredictable, let's talk about the wild world of cryptocurrency.
Oh boy, here we go, back to the roller coaster.
Wow, you could say that. Remember all those wild swings we saw in the Bitcoin market a while back? Well, buckle up, because things are heating up again.
Bitcoin, always full of surprises. What's driving the latest surge?
Well, Bitcoin recently hit a 2.5-month high, and some analysts are pointing to a rather unexpected driving force. Politics.
Politics. Okay, now that's a curveball I didn't see coming. Tell me more.
There's this theory going around called the Trump pump.
The Trump pump. That sounds interesting. I'm all ears.
Essentially, it suggests that Bitcoin's price is being influenced by the political climate, particularly the odds of former President Donald Trump winning the upcoming election.
Wow. So some investors are betting that a Trump victory would be good for Bitcoin. Why would that be?
There are a few possible explanations. Some believe that a Trump presidency could lead to more favorable regulations for cryptocurrencies. Others think that his stance on traditional financial systems might drive more people towards alternative investments like Bitcoin.
So it's like a bet on the future, a bet on what policies a potential Trump administration might pursue.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a fascinating example of how seemingly unrelated events can ripple through and impact even the most volatile markets.
It really highlights how interconnected everything is these days, doesn't it? One minute we're talking about electric vehicles, the next it's political predictions and cryptocurrency.
It's all connected. But you know what else is interesting? While everyone's busy chasing the latest Bitcoin surge, there's a different kind of market that's quietly booming. Enzymes.
Enzymes, like the stuff we learn about in biology class.
The very same. The global enzymes market is projected to grow at a rate of 6.5% annually through 2031.
Wow, 6.5%. That's a pretty significant jump. What's driving that kind of growth? Why enzymes?
Well, it's all about the bigger picture. There's a few factors at play here. One of the biggest is the increasing focus on preventative healthcare. People are becoming more proactive about their well-being, looking for natural ways to support their health.
Right. Everyone's all about gut health and probiotics these days.
Exactly. And guess what? Plays a crucial role in a lot of those products.
Enzymes. It's all coming together now.
They're like the unsung heroes of our digestive system, helping to break down food and absorb nutrients. But their applications go far beyond just digestion. Enzymes are used in a wide range of industries, from food and beverage production to pharmaceuticals and even laundry detergents.
Wow, I had no idea enzymes were such versatile little things.
They're pretty amazing when you think about it. And as consumers become more health conscious and demand for more sustainable and natural products continues to rise, the enzyme market is only going to continue to grow.
It's incredible how something so small can have such a big impact, isn't it?
It is. And it makes you wonder, what other hidden gems are out there? What other natural wonders are just waiting to be discovered and utilized for the betterment of humanity?
That's a great question. And you know what? I think it's the perfect note to start wrapping things up for today's deep dive. It's been quite a ride.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground.
We really have. From Wall Street to vaccines to enzymes, and a little bit of football and politics thrown in for good measure.
It's all connected, though, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, we started off talking about the stock market, that unpredictable beast. Always keeps us guessing.
And even with all the algorithms and expert predictions, sometimes it feels like it all comes down to gut feeling and a little bit of luck.
Right. Like no matter how much data we analyze, there's always that element of human behavior, which can be pretty unpredictable.
Exactly. Speaking of unpredictable, we delved into the world of vaccine development and that situation with Novavax. Definitely a reminder that scientific progress isn't always a straight line.
Yeah, definitely not. It's got its share of twists and turns,
Hmm.
but that's how we learn, right?
Absolutely. By taking risks, asking tough questions, and sometimes having to adjust course along the way.
Exactly. And, one of the things that struck me today was the importance of perspective. Like, when we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, we start to see how all these seemingly disparate stories are actually connected.
It's like those connect the dots puzzles. At first glance, it's just a bunch of random dots. But then you start drawing the lines, and suddenly a picture emerges.
I like that analogy, and it makes you realize that the world is full of surprises,
Well,
and it's constantly changing.
it certainly is. Which is why it's more important than ever to stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Couldn't agree more.
Mm.
Well said. Well, I think that about wraps it up for another deep dive.
Until next time.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and remember, keep asking those questions, keep exploring, and keep making those unexpected connections.